Hello and welcome to the Saintly Sounder, your source for all things FIFA. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a player many of you might have already used, but maybe not in this position or in this kind of squad. This is my review of right forward Juan Cuadrado. Here's the squad I used him in. As you might recognize from the Musa Sao review, it is the exact same squad. Hernandez, Guarín, Melo in the midfield with Cuadrado, Emenike, and Sao. It's a very strong squad. If anything, it only lacks a little bit of height, but Cuadrado really shined in this team and this formation. And you can see that shining in the stats. 36 games, 34 goals, 16 assists. He felt like an 85, and his point per games total was about 1.5, which is absolutely awesome. I'm going to start off with a long clip here to highlight Cuadrado's dribbling ability and his ability to stay involved in the play. As you can see, he's going to weave through. He's kind of unlucky that I didn't pull the shot there, but he stays involved in the play, and he's going to get a nice easy ball to finish it. Cuadrado is a man you can count on to pop up in just about any situation, and he's going to get the job done more often than not. I would compare him most to a mosquito in that he's always around your opponent, but they can never get rid of him. There he just finds the only gap that was available and found the back of the net. That mosquito factor is on display here as he's going to pick up an errant pass. He's really useful for high pressure, and he's going to use his good dribbling, actually amazing dribbling, to completely do up Gerard Piqué before finding the back of the net. If you've watched my Twitch stream, where there's a lot more video clips of him, you would know that he is just amazing on the dribble, and he can do so much on the ball. He's had a hat trick in that game. He's just so good everywhere he is. He can do so much, and at only 15,000 he's worth it. Look at this skill dribble run he's going to launch here. So smooth on the ball. My opponent can't step because he knows Cuadrado's going to get by him. But there's, I mean, look at that. Meg's the keeper. I mean, that's a really good goal from him, and he makes it look so easy as well. He is a kind of player like a Neymar who can make any player a skiller. I'm going to use the start of this longer clip to discuss another factor. Cuadrado earns a lot of penalty kicks. He earned the corner kick in this situation, but he earned 7 penalty kicks in 36 games because your opponents, if they're not good at defense, will come stabbing in on Cuadrado, and it's often a very easy PK. I just wanted to show the end result of this though, because he did get 4 or 5 headers for my team, and at 5'7", you don't really expect any participation on set pieces. But Cuadrado, you know, he was surprisingly decent, kind of in that weird FIFA 14 way. His passing ability is quite decent, as you're going to see here. He can get the job done more often than not. He's no Pirlo, but he's also not garbage at it either. Alright, so we were a little light on clips this week, but that's because most of the games were on Twitch when I was doing the Footmas tournament and the New Year's Open, which doesn't allow me to record to OneDrive. So just to give you a little more in-depth idea, he is quick as hell, as you might have noticed from the videos. He holds onto the ball very nicely. He's an A+ dribbler. He has 5-star skills. You can launch 30 dribbles a game with him if you want to. I wouldn't advise it because that's just a one-man show. But he is really good, and he's not going to let you down on the dribble. He earns quite a lot of PKs simply because of his awesome dribbling. His smallness, his weaker stature means he gets pulled over a lot by not as talented defending players. And his finishing is quite good for a right wing, right mid, right forward type player. A guy like Cuadrado, who is probably your only other practical option out there, has low finishing, and I found that to really let him down. His weaknesses are, first of all, that he's weak. And if the FIFA gods aren't smiling and you're not getting free kick calls, it can be really frustrating to watch Cuadrado get bullied off the ball. His weak foot can be really hit or miss. It's only 3 stars. He scored a golazo against me on his weak foot, but personally I can't think of too many times he scored on his weak foot for me. His small stature, again, ties into his weakness, means he does get pulled over a lot, and if you're not getting the calls, it can be really frustrating. He also does have limited links, which can be kind of frustrating, meaning basically you have to use Guarín or Ibarbo, and if you don't like using them, I'm not a huge fan of Guarín even. It can be kind of frustrating to be kind of pigeonholed into having to use one of those 2 players, especially if you want to use a creative hybrid. Alright, so using my new method of reviewing, I give him a 9 out of 10. His breakaways are crazy. He can sprint by just about everyone, and nobody, not Walker, not DeMarcos, no one will catch him if Cuadrado's at full speed. His skill dribbles, again, I give him a 9.5 out of 10. It's very, very tempting to just try to dribble through everyone, and oftentimes he won't disappoint you. He is the best dribbler I've tried in the game. Now keep in mind, I have not tried guys like Hazard and Neymar, and this was really my first superstar dribbler that I've been able to try. but in comparison to a guy like Lucas, who I have used, Cuadrado is miles better in every department. His inside the box finishing is good, not great, especially for the position. It's pretty decent. He can finish the ball quite well, but his weak foot can let him down. His shot power certainly doesn't feel like the 83 the card stats suggest, but he can be capable of finishing, and you don't normally have to worry about him missing any sitters. I give him an 8 out of 10 in crossing because although he can find the heads of people, and maybe it was the squad I was using that was quite small, he can miss a little bit. He can misfire, and oftentimes I found myself more wanting to just dribble it in and then just play a cheesy ball across than risk having to use X and cross the ball in. Now his chance for creation for others is an 8 out of 10, but there should be an asterisk there because really it comes down to the fact that I was way more likely to just put my head down and dribble with him because he is such a good dribbler that I just didn't want to get rid of the ball, especially with poorer dribblers like Emanike around him, that just having that really agile body inside the 18 meant that oftentimes Cuadrado would finish with about 20 dribbles a game. His long shots, I didn't score any. I didn't feel like I would be able to score too much with him. I tried a couple finesse shots, they didn't work. I would recommend just getting inside the 18 and having a go from there. I wasn't impressed by his long shots very much, 6 out of 10. Heading the ball, 10 out of 10 for being 5'7". But realistically, in this game, compared to other wingers, I give him a 7 out of 10. He nicked 4 or 5 headers for me, which is more than I ever could have possibly hoped. But I wouldn't go whipping the ball into him unless you just want to see your opponent go out on the counter. Alright, if you found this at all interesting or helpful, like and subscribe. I'm on Twitch at the Saintly Sounder. Again, there's a lot more video clips there of him, especially if you actually watch some of the videos. There's a couple highlights up, but there's also a lot more Cuadrado action in the actual Twitch streams that I've done. I'm on Twitter at TheRedDeath329 if that's your thing. Until next time, see you on the pitch.